Moment of silence for one of my favorite actors, comedians, Mr. Robin Williams, passed away today. Said like asphyxia or something like that. It might have been a suicide. He'd been dealing with depression. I know recently there was some news that said he checked himself into rehab. And yeah, I can't believe he's gone. He's not going to be here to make us laugh. It's really, really tragic. So yeah. Just wanted to make a video, sort of celebrating his life, and basically my connection. And I don't really know him personally. I don't, but I have a feeling that Robin Williams is just a unique person. He embraced his inner child. He didn't shy away from it. He was a rare soul, and it's really, really sucks that he's not going to be there. That soul is now it's in heaven in the afterlife, making all the angels and all the people up there laugh. So the clouds are ringing with laughter now. So it's just so bittersweet or sour, however way you want to put it. It's because I didn't know the man personally doesn't mean I can't grieve. I mean, he's given so much to us, to the audiences, to the people who watch his movies. He's given so much entertainment, so much joy, and so much, just a wealth of wonderful moments. And for me personally, I grew up watching Hook, and I always remember him as Peter Pan, Peter Banning, and I was also grew up watching Toys. I remember him for that, but remember him for his life. Remember him for who he is. He was a great comedian. I've heard from a lot of things. He was a nice guy. He was a good guy. Liked his fans. I believe he's done charity work in the past, and just it seems like a lot of comedians whose job is to make us laugh and to make us feel good. A lot of them just don't seem to make it that long. Think about it. John Candy, he died fairly early, you could say, for somebody a man his age. Yeah, he was obese and things like that, but you could say that he died pretty early. You have, of course, John Belushi. He died really young. Chris Farley died pretty young. It's pretty tragic when you think about these lists of comedians that just don't seem to make it past. I mean, Robin Williams, 63. I mean, that's pretty. He still had a lot left in his life for a man his age. I mean, especially nowadays in this world, when the lifespan is a lot longer than 63. But, compared to someone like John Belushi, he did live a longer life and a very full life. And I'm pretty sure that even in whatever depressed mindset he was, if he did decide to kill himself or not, whatever depressed mindset he was in, he pretty sure that he realized what good he brought to this world. And if he didn't, he definitely is realizing it now. A world without Robin Williams is a world that is definitely different for me. I was not old enough to really feel the impact or anything of the loss of John Candy or Chris Farley. I wasn't even born when John Belushi died. And Paul Walker, I felt that too. Paul Walker was he was a rising star. He passed away. Brandon Lee, rising star, passed away. This is the first death, I guess I could say, in my lifetime from a celebrity standpoint other than Tony Scott got me pretty well too because it was another suicide. It was a really, really tragic story. And Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze was the other one that really got me. But he was already battling with this cancer anyway, so he wasn't going to last long. Robin, on the other hand, I didn't see this coming at all. I know he put himself in rehab, and that that some ways is a sign of issues, but I'm just stunned. I couldn't believe it when I saw the news. I just got done doing a review, and you know, there's no words. It just sucks. Sucks. Anyway, Robin, he was born on July 21st, 1951. His middle name is McLaurin. He's an American actor. He's a voice actor. He's also known as a stand-up comedian. He first rose to fame with his role as the alien Mork in the TV series Mork and Mindy. And afterwards, Williams went on to establish a successful career in both comedy and feature film acting. Early in his life, Williams was born in Chicago, Illinois. His mother, Laura McLaurin, was a former model from New Orleans, Louisiana. And his father, Robert Fitzgerald Williams, was a senior executive at Ford Motor Company in charge of the Midwest region. And it looks like his father did die. His father died in 1987, and his mother died in 2001. So both his father and mother have been long passed on. And he was a senior executive at Ford Motor Company in charge of the Midwest region. His maternal great-grandfather was Mississippi Senator and Governor Anselm J. McLaurin. Williams' ancestry includes English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish, German, and French. He was raised in the Episcopal Church while his mother practiced Christian Science. He grew up in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, where he was a student at Detroit Country Day School, and later moved to Woodacre, Montgomery County, California, where he attended the public Redwood High School. Williams studied at Claremont McKenna College, and in between Claremont and Juilliard, he attended the College of Marin for theater. He has two half-brothers, Todd, who died on August 14, 2007, and McLaurin. Williams has described himself as a quiet child whose first imitation was of his grandmother to his mother. He did not overcome his shyness until he became involved with his high school drama department. Something I have in common with Robin Williams. I was really, really shy around people, and except for my family, until I went in the drama department and took musical theater, and now I'm not shy with people anymore. I converse with people. I make jokes with random strangers on the bus now. So, in 1973, Williams was one of the only 20 students accepted into the freshman class at the Juilliard School, and one of only 2 students accepted by John Houseman into the advanced program at the school that year. The other being Christopher Reeve. And that hits me there too, because Chris Reeve, I can't believe I forgot about Chris Reeve. Chris Reeve was the first actor when I was really young, when he passed on, that really affected me. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you don't know any of these people personally. Come on. I'm like, that's no excuse not to grieve. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be a heartless bastard because I didn't know the person, personally? I'm sorry. No. Anybody dying sucks, celebrity or otherwise. And Chris Reeve, another actor that real life Superman, the tragedy of his accident, everything sucked anyway as it was. So Robin and Chris, I guess, are teaming up and doing monologues and stuff like that in heaven right now together. In his dialects class, Williams had no trouble mastering all dialects quickly. Williams left Juilliard in 1976. Then he started his television career. After appearing in the cast of the short-lived Richard Pryor show on NBC, Williams was cast by Gary Marshall as the alien Mork in the hit TV series Happy Days. After impressing the producer with his quirky sense of humor when he sat on his head when asked to take a seat for the audition. As Mork, Williams improvised much of his dialogue and physical comedy, speaking in a high nasal voice. Mork's appearance is so popular with viewers that it led to a spin-off hits television sitcom Mork and Mindy, which ran from 1978 to 1982. The show was written to accommodate Williams' improvisations. Although he played the same character as his appearance in Happy Days, the show was set in present day in Boulder, Colorado, instead of the late 1950s in Milwaukee. Mork was an extremely popular character, featured on posters, coloring books, lunchboxes, and other merchandise. Starting in the late 1970s throughout the 1980s, Williams began to reach a wider audience with his stand-up comedy, including 3 HBO comedy specials, Off the Wall in 1978, An Evening with Robin Williams in 1982, and Robin Williams Live at the Met in 1986. Also in 1986, Williams co-hosted the 58th Academy Awards. His stand-up work has been a consistent thread throughout his career, as is seen by the success of his one-man show and subsequent DVD, Robin Williams Live on Broadway in 2002. And he was voted 13th on Comedy Central's list of 100 greatest stand-ups of all time in 2004. Williams, along with Billy Crystal, appeared in cameo together at the beginning of an episode of the 3rd season of Friends. Both Williams and Crystal's parts were not originally in the script. They were apparently in the building where the show was shooting and were asked to improvise their lines. Williams appeared on an episode of the American version of Whose Line It Is Anyway during Season 3, Episode 9. During a game of the scenes of Hat scene where Robin Williams is what Robin Williams is thinking right now is drawn, and Williams stated, "I have a career. What the hell am I doing here?" And on December 4, 2010, he appeared with Robert De Niro on Saturday Night Live in a sketch, What Up With That? And in 2012, he guest starred as himself in 2 FX series as Louis and Wilfred. In February 2003, the CBS and network announced to pick up a pilot episode for the comedy The Crazy One, starring Williams and Sarah Michelle Gellar. And it was a show that was pretty popular, but with critics, but it got canceled. Most of Williams' acting career was in film, although he gave some performances on stage as well, most notably as Estragon in production of Waiting for Godot with Steve Martin. It's funny, I actually did do a monologue as that character in drama class as well. His first film was the 1977 comedy Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses, and his performance in Good Morning Vietnam resulted in Williams being nominated for an Academy Award. Many of his roles have been comedies tinged with pathos. I think he's an underrated dramatic actor. He's a great comedic actor, but he's also really good when he wants to be dramatic. His role as a genie in the animated film Aladdin was instrumental in establishing the importance of star power and voiceover casting. Williams used his voice talents again in Fern Gully, and as the holographic Dr. No in the 2011 film AI Artificial Intelligence. He also lended his voice talents to Robots, the 2006 Academy Award-winning Happy Feet, and an uncredited vocal performance in Everyone's Hero. He was also the voice of the Timekeeper, a former attraction of the Walt Disney World Resort, about a time-traveling robot who encounters Jules Verne and brings him into the future. Williams' roles in dramatic films earned him an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor for his role as a psychologist in Good Will Hunting, as well as 2 previous Academy Award nominations for playing an English teacher in Dead Poets Society. He was great in that, and playing a troubled homeless man in The Fisher King. That same year, he played an adult Peter Pan in the movie Hook. It was perfect casting. Couldn't have asked for a better casting of a role for an adult Peter Pan, other than Robin Williams. Other acclaimed dramatic films include Awakenings, he was amazing in that as well, and What Dreams May Come. In the 2002 film Insomnia, Williams portrayed a writer-killer on the run and the sleep-deprived Los Angeles policeman played by Al Pacino in rural Alaska. He did a great job with that. He was such a really underrated actor. He wasn't just a guy who could make you laugh. He could also make you afraid. He did a great job playing, psychos. And then he did an excellent job in 1 Hour Photo, Creeped Me Out, and it just shows how much of a talented actor he was. In 2006, Williams starred in The Night Listener, a thriller about a radio show host who realized that a child whom he developed a friendship with may or may not exist. And then he starred in 5 movies that year: Man of the Year, he was a surprise guest in the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. And Williams is known for his improvisational skills and impersonations. And most of his dialogue as a genie was improvised. At one point, he was in the running to play the Riddler in Batman Forever until director Tim Burton dropped the project. Earlier, Robin Williams was a strong contender to play the Joker in Batman in 1989. He had some disputes with Disney for them wanting to, they had a bitter falling out, I guess, something that happened with Genie and he voiced a Genie in Aladdin. on a condition, and he only got paid about $75,000 for it, on the condition that his name image may not be used for marketing and supporting character not take more than 25% of the space in advertising artwork, since toys was scheduled for release 1 month after Aladdin's debut. Additionally, Williams believed the character's voice was his property, and he did not want it to be imitated. The studio went back on the deal on both counts, especially in poster art by having the genie 25% of the image, but having other major and supporting characters portrayed considerably smaller. Disney's Hyperion book, Aladdin the Making of an Animated Film, lists both Williams' characters, the peddler and the genie, ahead of main characters, but was forced to refer to him as only as the actor signed to play the genie. Williams and Disney had a bitter falling out. I don't blame them for that, because they did break their agreement, and resulting in Dan Castellaneta voicing Genie in The Return of Jafar, and in the animated television series. Castellaneta was also hired for the feature Aladdin the King of Thieves, and had completed recording all of its lines. When Jeffrey Katzenberg was fired from Disney and replaced by 20th Century Fox production head Joe Roth, whose last act for Fox greenlighting Bill Williams' film Missed Outfire, Roth arranged for a public apology to Williams by Disney. Williams agreed to perform in Hollywood Pictures' Jack, a film directed by Francis Ford Coppola, which I actually don't mind. I grew up with that movie. And even agreed to voice the genie again for a King of Thieves sequel, for considerably more than scale, replacing all of Castellaneta's dialogue. Pretty extensive stand-up career. His widow right now is his third wife, graphic designer Susan Schneider, and definitely want to wish the best for his wife, his children, and the rest of his family. I wish them nothing but goodwill, while they're grieving and trying to survive from this. Trying to, not really survive, but just trying to move on. It's going to be tough. It'll be tough to move on from such a shocking event, to someone that they love. And yeah, I know I don't know Robin Williams personally, but I'd say I love the guy. I loved his films. I loved his performances. I always thought he was an underrated actor. He didn't get enough credit for what he did. And hopefully now that he's passed, sadly, he passed away, hopefully now he'll get that. Yeah, when studying at Juilliard, he befriended Christopher Reeve. They had several classes together in which they were only students, and they remained good friends for the rest of Reeves' life. Williams actually visited Reeve after the horse riding accident that rendered him quadriplegic, and cheered him up by pretending to be an eccentric Russian doctor, similar to his role in 9 Months. Williams claimed he was there to perform a colonoscopy, and Reeve stated that he laughed for the first time since the accident, and he knew that life was going to be okay. He had problems with addiction. During the late 1970s, early 1980s, Williams had an addiction to cocaine. Williams was a close friend of and a frequent partier alongside John Belushi. He said the death of his friend and the birth of his son prompted him to quit drugs. Was it a wake-up call? Oh yeah, on a huge level. The grand jury also helped too. On August 9, 2006, Williams checked himself into a substance abuse rehabilitation center located in Newberg, Oregon, later admitting he was an alcoholic. His publicist delivered the announcement. After 20 years of sobriety, Robin Williams found himself drinking again and decided to take proactive measures to deal with this for his own well-being and for the well-being of his family. Williams was hospitalized in March 2009 during heart problems, which seems like it's something that runs in the family, because his elder brother, Robert Todd Williams, died of complications from heart surgery performed a month earlier, in July of 2007. When he postponed his one-man tour in order to undergo surgery to replace his aortic valve. Surgery was successfully completed on March 13, 2009 at the Cleveland Clinic. During an appearance on the Graham Norton Show, he discussed the fact that propofol had been used on him during his operation, the same drug which had been involved in the death of Michael Jackson. Williams commented that Jackson had been taking the drug to sleep, which he compared to doing chemotherapy because you're tired of shaving your head. This comment caused so much hilarity among the audience and other guests, but Williams emphasized the fact that propofol is a devastatingly powerful drug that should be only administered in the hospital, whereas Jackson had been using it at home. A lot of charity work. Williams and his former wife, Marcia, founded the Windfall Foundation, a philanthropic organization to raise money for many different charities. Williams devotes much of his energy to charity work. including the comic relief fundraising efforts, where the program was hosted by himself, Billy Crystal, and Whoopi Goldberg. In December 1999, he sang in French on the BBC-inspired music video of international celebrities doing a cover of Rolling Stones' "It's Only Rock and Roll" for the charity Children's Promise. In response to the 2010 Canterbury earthquake, Williams donated all proceeds of his Weapons of Self-Destruction Christchurch stand-up performance to helping rebuild the New Zealand city. Half the proceeds were donated to the Red Cross and half the mayoral building fund with the words, "I hope this donation will go some way to helping the extensive rebuilding effort in the city." Williams had performed with the USO for U.S. troops stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan. And Williams also actively supported the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for several years. Yeah, his first film he was in was Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses as himself, a little cameo. Then his first starring role was as Popeye in Popeye in 1980. Then 2 years later, he did a risky move and decided to do his first serious dramatic role in The World According to Garp, which I still haven't seen yet, but I've heard some good things about it. And he was in a film called The Survivors in 1983, which also he co-starred with Walter Matthau. It was a decent, alright flick. And he was in Moscow on the Hudson, which I've heard was decent. I've never seen it. Seize the Day, a drama. Club Paradise, which I still need to see. Best of Times is Jack Dundee. I really thought he was great in that, one of his more underrated performances. Just throw me the goddamn ball, Reno. Good Morning Vietnam as Adrian Cronauer. Excellent performance. Great film. Played the King of the Moon and Baron Munchausen. He, John Keating and Dead Poets Society. Amazing performance. Calic Man of Julia Bryan. Very fun, underrated performance. Really fun flick he did. Awakenings is Dr. Malcolm Sayer. He also co-starred with Robert De Niro in that excellent drama. That again, little brief role he had at Dr. Cozy Carlisle. I thought that was a solid job with that. I've never seen The Fisher King. Hook. I thought he was great in that film as Peter Pan and Peter Banning. I probably will remember him the most for playing Peter Pan and Hook. Toys is Leslie Zevo. Very underrated performance. Beautiful film. Wonderful performance by Robin Williams. I would definitely cherish that performance as well for the rest of my life. Aladdin is the genie, voice of the genie. It was the voice of Batty in Vern Gully. Mrs. Doubtfire. Remember him for that. He was fun in that movie. Jumanji, Alan Parrish, another role I thought he did a really good job with. Another film I really like with Robin Williams. I grew up watching that as a kid. Decent dramatic role, was a brief role in that movie, in the adaptation of Hamlet in 1996. Played Jack and Jack Powell. I thought he did a pretty good job in that for playing a kid with the body of an adult. It's a good casting choice. The Birdcage is Armand Goldman. Fuck the shrimp. I really like his character in that. The Birdcage is a hilarious movie. Good Will Hunting, excellent performance of Sean McGuire. I haven't seen Flubber in years, but I didn't remember not minding him, Robin Williams, in that film. Father's Day, I didn't think it was that bad of a movie. I had fun with him and Billy Crystal in that movie. Patch Adams, I know it's not based on a true story, but it's based on a true story, but it takes a lot of its own. It adds some things that weren't there, and I know the real Patch Adams hates it, but I honestly didn't mind that movie. That was a good performance by Robin Williams. What Dreams May Come, really unique movie he did. He did a good job in that. Bicentennial Man, one of my least favorite of his. But it had some unique ideas. I've never seen Jacob the Liar. Heard it's a great performance by him, and I've never seen it, even though it nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor. But from what I've seen or heard, it doesn't sound like it's that awful. AI is Dr. No. Insomnia is great. Christopher Nolan flick that's actually getting really overlooked lately. Death to Smoochie is Rainbow Randolph Smiley. Really love that role. Really enjoy that movie. 1 Hour Photo is great as Seymour Cy Parrish. Very great performance in that suspense thriller. I want to see the final cut. I saw the trailer for that. It looks interesting. I remember not minding the movie Robots or his voiceover in that. Night at the Museum He's one of the few characters I actually like. I like his Theodore Roosevelt character. RV I thought was an enjoyable, decent time waster. The Night Listener I still haven't seen. I'm curious about it. He was really good in August Rush, in a really underrated movie. Um, haven't seen World's Greatest Dad. Old Dogs, I didn't mind him in that movie in 2009, playing Dan Rayburn. I thought him and John Travolta had some nice chemistry and a lot of fun. It's a nice, fun, harmless flick. Um, I haven't seen The Angriest Man in Brooklyn yet. I want to. And then, yeah, he's Theodore Roosevelt, Night at the Museum 3. And I guess he did one other movie called Boulevard. And he did something. His last and final film he plays this character named Mitch in a movie called A Friggin' Christmas Miracle. And that'll actually be his last film. And it frickin' sucks. And yeah, I really don't know what else to say. I'm just shocked. I'm just like a brick to the face. It's weight in my chest. Can't believe he's gone. I'll never look at Hook the same way again. When you have that scene near the end where he flies away from Neverland and he flies into the clouds and he says, "Thank you for believing." I cry like a baby every time I see that scene now because it just is it's such a literal representation of Robin passing on. Thank you for believing. And then flying away in the clouds, never to be seen again. I'll still have him, the memories of Robin Williams. I'll still have those memories that I had watching Hook and Toys growing up, and I'll still be able to watch his movies and stand up and laugh, but it won't be the same with him not being here. And it won't be the same with me knowing that he's not here, that he's not alive, that his unique soul and his spirit is no longer with us. At least we still have that, So we still have those memories that we made watching his films and his stand-up, and we do still have those things to watch, but still doesn't make his death any less horrible or tragic. I didn't mean to bring everybody down, but I just felt I had to do this. I had to do a video like this about Robin Williams because he's one of my favorite actors and an actor that I think he meant a lot to so many people and made so many people laugh. And yeah, it's making people laugh in the afterlife, but it's not the same with him. It's not the same when you compare it to him being here, making people laugh here, making his family laugh, making his kids laugh, making his wife laugh, making us all laugh. And he's not going to be there to do that anymore. No new fresh jokes, no new fresh material. It sucks. Everybody dies. It's a fact of life. And I think it helps that while you're here on Earth, that you do things that people will remember you fondly for. He's made mistakes, drug addiction, and so forth. Everybody has. I mean, damn, I have. I'd stupidly try to run across the road, and I got hit by a car, and I got flipped 15 feet in the air, and I landed face first, busted my teeth, broke my nose. I was lucky that's all I did. I could have easily been dead. I could have easily died. And every day after that accident, I always cherish my life, and I always look at it as each day can be my last. Just deaths like this show you that death doesn't have favorites. Death doesn't have any preferences. Death doesn't take any prisoners. And you never know when it's going to come. But Instead of living your life worrying about oh, I'm going to die. Live your life to its fullest. Robin had mistakes, had drugs and parties and drinking, but I think you could say that he did live his life to the fullest. And that's something that all of us can believe in. So anyway, I really don't know what to say except thanks for watching. And rest in peace, Robin Williams.